Hi, I'm Tiffany Bartles, and this is my reflection video for what I've learned so far in the course. So, I guess I have to start out by saying it's really hard for me to do these things because I think when I'm learning things, like if someone says, "What did you learn?" I'm like, I don't know. I feel like I'm exactly the same as I always have been. But I think there's been a lot of pieces that have gone into building where I'm at now. And so all of the stuff that I'm learning has just really been helpful in just elaborating a lot on all the different pieces that go into counseling and working in the helping field. And so it's been really good. It's just really hard for me to pick out like where I had previous knowledge, where I learned new things. That part I always really struggle with. And honestly, like if even when we did our papers last week about our personal growth and development, I'm like, I don't know. I think I've always been the same. And obviously that's not true, but it takes me a while to think about it. So I kind of struggle with this. So I have notes. So I might be a little choppy here and there, but I'm trying really hard to make sure I get all my good points in. So, like I said, I think I had a really good knowledge base, but there's a lot of things that have really been expanded for me. One of the things that has been really good was all the ethical concerns. Like I'm so used to focusing on substance use disorders and really just focusing on that piece of it and the ethics that go along with that. And I guess I feel like when you're in school for that, it's like, oh, you're not going to be that important. So you'll always have someone above you and, blah, blah, blah. But at this point, that's not going to be the case. It's going to be me. I have to answer for me. And as much as I'll have consultation and supervision and all that stuff, like really it's up to me. So I think that there's been like a lot of really good points about ethics that were brought up that I didn't really think about before. And so that's really given me different perspective on things. And going along with that, the values part, the values piece, I thought I always was really good with. Like I always thought, oh my goodness, I know that it's not my values, it's theirs, and but again, it's in such a limited scope that now when I think about in the big picture, like there's going to be people coming to me for more things than just their substance use disorder, and so that's the part where it's going to be really difficult. And if I do agree with a patient or feel like they're doing the right thing, and like how am I supposed to not let my values impact how I work with them, because that is important. And I think sometimes I might influence people, especially when I first start out, without even realizing it. So that part has been really good. And then the other piece that I think has been really helpful is just, I think throughout the reading, it keeps being over and over again, reiterated the importance of, getting that guidance and support from that consultation. That's something, not that I haven't done in the past. The setting I work in now, there's not a ton of opportunity for consultation. I'm the only counselor in my building. And so I have other counselors that work for the same organization in a different location. So I can access them like via email or telephone. And I have, weekly meetings via Zoom, but like there's several people at that location. So sometimes my things aren't as pertinent. So I haven't always used that consultation ability as much as I probably would have if I were working within a larger setting. So, but ever since I've started taking this class and like really listening to all the ethical concerns and just different dilemmas that come up, I've actually started using that consultation more, which I think is really good because obviously it's very important. And so I'm trying to take advantage of those situations more and more as I'm able to. The other piece that I really liked, and I have a really hard time thinking back all the way to the beginning, but most recently with all the theoretical orientations, as much as I'd taken a class on that before, it was like 4 years ago. And so, again, a nice refresher into like what everything is and how they fit into those 5 categories, which is, really great. And I think the statement that stuck out to me the most, and I put this in my discussion board, was that you can't just pick pieces haphazardly of different theories and put them all together and hope you're a good counselor. So I think it's going to be really important for me, like going forward, to really start looking at what pieces I want to work with, like what's going to be best for my client population, what's going to be most useful for me, and really start building that foundation really strong, because I know there's certain areas that I feel like I have a good understanding of, but there's I'm going to need to be more flexible for a lot of my upcoming clients. So I think that's going to be a really important area for me to focus on. So I'm trying to figure out more how I can focus on that and where I really want to go with a lot of those things. Another area that I think was really helpful, that I think really helped me develop more as a counselor, even at this point in time, was the idea of resistant clients. Obviously, working in substance use disorders, there's a lot of resistant clients, there's a lot of mandated clients, but thinking really about how those defenses have really served the client previously, and where that comes from, that they've been helpful, has really helped me have a better attitude. Because when you work with difficult populations for a really long time, you tend to get burnt out with the idea of people not wanting to do things, and I think I was really getting to that point until reading some of this stuff, and now I think that I've really been able to change my own perspective and really look at, where those strengths are in that resistance and where those defenses are helpful, and really have a different starting point with people. And I can actually tell in my own work it's making a difference. So I think that's the really cool thing about this class, is I'm learning so many things and I'm able to, in some areas, apply them where it's appropriate. And so that's been really great to see. And I think it's just affected my attitude as a whole, because I think, again, I've been going to school for 4 years and I've been working, and I think I get really sucked into just got to get this done. But I think going back to like an intro to counseling, like at the end of the day, what is counseling supposed to be like? And now I'm really paying attention to more of the little things that I think I didn't miss along the way, but I kind of have dropped off or not really thought about or reflected on as much in the past couple years. And so I think that's been really good for me as a professional, as a person, and then also for my clients as well. With the discussion boards, I love seeing everyone's different perspectives, because there is so much information in each chapter. Like I could write, 8 pages about things I learned or areas that I thought were interesting. Obviously, it's a discussion board, it's not appropriate. So it's really been great to see the pieces that are other people are noticing, and like where things are sticking out to them, and also people that are on a different track than I am, like what, how they're planning to apply it, or where it's different in their situation, like working with kids, or, if you were working more in like a marriage and family way. So I think that's been really awesome. I love that everyone, even though we're on different tracks, is all in the same class, and be able to talk about how we're planning to use those things, or where we think that might be helpful. And then everyone's questions is like great. It's like, I have a really hard time thinking of questions right away. And so I usually have to wait like a day or two after doing the reading to think about things. And so then seeing everyone else's questions, I'm like, oh yeah, that's great. I didn't even think of that. So that's just been really, really great as well. And then out of the assignments we've done, I think everything's been helpful as far as assignments. The discussion boards are great. The personal assignments are really great. And the part I really enjoyed, obviously, last week was that self-reflection paper. I don't really think about how personally far I've come in the last several years and how different I am, because again, when you kind of evolve naturally, you feel like it's always been this way, and that's not the case. So that's been really helpful as well. Just kind of figuring out, and it kind of helps me figure out some of my weaknesses as well. Like, I feel like that there's a lot of strengths that I have that I didn't have before. There's, but there's weaknesses that I need to work on. There's areas that I still need to continuously work on and have that continuous growth. So that has been really great also. And I think that's about it at this point. So overall, I'm really enjoying the class. I'm learning so much, and it's, again, just hard for me to put into words, but those are the big areas that I picked out that I've really noticed differences in myself. Even though there's probably a lot more, that's where I can really find things. So thank you so much.